welcome to another episode of the P&P Show. We're back once again, and we had some big shockers last week, so let's quickly run over them. Obviously, number 1, Georgia beat Missouri. No surprise on that. Number 2, Alabama almost falls to unranked LSU.
Yes, it was the middle of the game where Alabama took the pedal off the gas, and then once they realized that this thing was getting tight, then they put the foot on the pedal again, and then they opened it up.
Right.
Alabama has to play 4 quarters.
They do.
They have too many tough opponents on their schedule and coming up, provided that they make the SEC playoffs. So Alabama, get ready to go the distance here. Just don't back off.
Right. The upset of the week, I would say, number 3, Michigan State falls to unranked Purdue. It was not even a close game either, 40-29.
It wasn't a close game, and it was disappointing. Michigan State looked so good the week before in beating Michigan, and then they come back, and Purdue's not a bad team. They gave Notre Dame a game, and they've hung tough, but they shouldn't be in the same conversation as Michigan State, Michigan, and Ohio State, and yet they keep coming back and knocking off the better schools in the top tier. So I guess that's why they play the game.
Right. Oregon only beats Washington by 10. Again, Oregon is not what people are saying they are, but we need a new college football committee.
This has been a strange year in college football. You never know what's going to happen from one Saturday to another. You would think that Oregon would have a better game than they played against Washington. Washington is not a bad team, but they aren't the Washington that they used to be this year. So,
right. Right. But the committee is making really bad choices. Oregon lost to Stanford. Now they're almost losing to Washington. They're not ranked what are they now? Actually, I don't think they're 41. No, they're ranked number 3. And a 10-point win? They moved up a spot? Number 5, well, that's because Michigan State lost. Number 5, Ohio State beats Nebraska by 9 points.
9 points. That was a surprise. I thought it would be an easy game for Ohio State.
And they also moved up.
And they moved up.
And Notre Dame, with their statement win against Navy, moves up 1.
It was a statement win. Navy played Cincinnati tough right into the fourth quarter to the end of the game. But Notre Dame finally figured out how to defend the option. The offense was pretty good. I continue to be impressed with Jack Cohen. He has a lot of poise. Tyler Buckner comes in and gives them a change of pace when they need it. Drew's still riding the pine. So the Irish should be higher than they are.
They definitely should. And I think with Ohio State's upcoming schedule, it could affect both of those teams, and it'll affect the whole rankings. But we'll talk about that. Backtracking here, Cincinnati beat Tulsa by 8.
Yes.
And it was a close game, too.
Cincinnati's having a midseason slump. They're a really solid team. The only team they've really played is Notre Dame, and they only beat them by, a touchdown?
11 points.
11 points. So, so therefore they should not be that high. Just they are undefeated, but they shouldn't be that high.
Right. Yeah. But they should still be ahead of Ohio State, I think.
Yes, they should be.
Cincinnati usually is a pretty good team, and they're underrated most of the time. But right now, they're not having the greatest time. In fact, right. Tulsa comes down the field. They need a touchdown and a two-point
conversion.
And they are right near the end zone. I don't know if it was a pick or a fumble. I believe it was a fumble, but that was the only thing that separated that game. Tulsa had a good chance of winning that. So that just shows you, Michigan beats Indiana, no surprise. North Carolina and Wake Forest. What a game. UNC.
I watched most of that game. It was an incredible game. It was, the outcome was in doubt right to the end. I was pulling for Wake Forest. They're having a great season, but
as you usually do with an undefeated team.
Right. And they were playing at home, and I was hoping they would win this one. They didn't. They're still a very solid team, though, and I don't know who they have left on the schedule, but
North Carolina was the home team.
All right. I stand corrected, but if they run the table and they only have one loss, they're going to get into a decent bowl game. Maybe we'll see them at Notre Dame.
Maybe. That would be a pretty good game. Oklahoma State beat West Virginia, no surprise. TCU.
Ooh.
TCU beat Baylor. The Frogs finally.
Oh, the Frogs. You would think that with the firing of their coach and having another coach come in and only have a week to get the team ready, that this would be a no-brainer for Baylor. Is that who they played?
Yeah.
Baylor. You think this would be a no-brainer for Baylor, but the Frogs, and they beat them by more than a touchdown. What was the final in that one?
30-28, so it was 2 points. I don't know.
Oh, 2 points. All right. But the Frogs prevailed, and therefore I know there was great celebration in the Lloyd House, at least up in Maddie's section of it, because his expert consultants are all big Frogs fans.
Right. All right. Next game. Unbelievable. Texas A&M team that we underestimated completely. We thought Auburn was going to win this game. Texas A&M beats Auburn 20-3.
Okay. Well, Texas A&M beat Alabama.
They did.
So
they've been up and down all year.
They are a good team, and therefore
they lost to Mississippi State. Where's that?
Well, Mississippi State's a wild card.
Well, Bama beat them.
Coach Leach is one of my favorites because he doesn't take himself too seriously. Has this air raid offense where I don't think they run at all. They probably have a couple running plays, but not many. They light it up. They have a very good quarterback, puts up big numbers. And Mississippi State lost by 2 points, I think. And they had 3 missed field goals. They had the regular first team kicker come in. He missed 2. Then they brought in the second team kicker. He missed the 3rd. And so Mike Leach, in his style, he declared that he's having an open tryout. Any Mississippi State student that wants to come out and kick can try out. And if they can do it, he's going to put them on the team. So,
all right. Moving on, Ole Miss beat Liberty. We picked that correctly. I mean, not much of a game there. Liberty's okay this year, not awesome. Arkansas, unranked, beat number 17 Mississippi State.
Well, that was the game in which they couldn't get a field goal.
Right. Tennessee takes down Kentucky 45-42. Whew.
Good game, rivalry game, and Tennessee's definitely improving.
Yeah. I'll tell you who's not, though. Kentucky. They have gone on a downfall. They were undefeated, and they have lost 3 straight games to Georgia, which, you'd expect, and then Mississippi State and Tennessee. They were undefeated. What happened?
Well,
yeah.
These aren't bad teams. Certainly Georgia is the best right now, so that could be expected. As I said, Mississippi State's a wild card.
Yeah.
And the third one was Tennessee, who's improving. I would have expected them to beat Tennessee, but Tennessee is, as the season goes on, they are getting better.
Right. This is really weird. Number 23 Fresno State loses to Boise State 40-14.
Yeah.
What?
I don't really pay any attention to that conference or that section of the country, but that's a surprise.
But still, a ranked team losing to Boise State, the blue field team, even though
Well, Boise State has a great tradition, but they're in a down cycle right now. They aren't the Boise State of old. So,
yes. All right. Any other significant games? Looking around, Army versus Air Force. It is Veterans Day on the day of filming, so we'll talk about the U.S. Army against the U.S. Air Force. Army beats Air Force 21-14 in overtime.
Okay, good game. Everybody comes to play. They play hard. All the service academies come to play hard, which is a good thing for all of us American citizens, that you have these people who are so dedicated and who leave it all on the field. All the service academies are using this option offense, and it gives fits to other teams. It gave fits to Cincinnati. Notre Dame has traditionally done very poorly, although they seem to have figured it out and were able to score on Navy and to keep Navy's scoring low. But when they get together, they're no stranger to each other because they're running the same offense. Good hard game, and in overtime,
yeah,
I would expect that. That's not a surprise.
Good game there. Not going to lie. Memphis beat SMU. I thought SMU was better than that. Coastal won in their first ever their first ever Saturday game, I swear. But guess what? You're not going to believe this. 2 weeks in a row, Coastal Carolina plays on Saturday.
All right. Well, I think the country wants to see them.
Yeah. All right.
Any team that's whose mascot is a giant chicken, I'd like to see him.
Clemson barely won against Louisville, and USC lost again, so that's not saying anything. And then our other insignificant games, I believe Butler lost, but we can look at that. Butler barely lost to Dayton, 38-31.
All right, the Bulldogs.
Did St. Vincent win?
St. Vincent did not win. It wasn't a particularly good game for them. I don't recall what the score was. It was something like 34-7. This is one of the better teams that they played, Westminster. They're closing out their season this week with Bethany. I don't think Bethany has one win this year. So they're playing at St. Vincent at Senior Day. I expect the Bearcats will do.
Do you think
tomorrow?
Can they still make the playoffs?
No.
No.
But they could go over 500.
Well, that's what we hope. And then we went to the game, actually. Benedictine beat Riverside. Took me long enough to get that. I mean, Riverside kind of made it close, but then after that, it was kind of a blah. So Benedictine moves on. They'll play at a neutral site this week in Elyria. They're playing Walsh Jesuit. And if you can remember,
this is a rematch game.
Right. If you can remember, the first week of the season, Benedictine beat Walsh Jesuit in overtime with a game-winning field goal. So this is going to be a good one. But we'll talk about that. Hold on. Let's go to our picks for week 11.
Let's move on to this week.
So our first
I have a dinner day.
Yeah. So our first game is New Mexico State facing off against Bama. We always pick for Bama. So who you got? New Mexico State or Alabama?
Bama, no doubt about it.
Fair enough. Me as well. Nothing else to be said on that one. Our next game, number 6 Michigan facing off against Penn State. This should be decent. Penn State has lost some games, but 2 significant teams. They've lost to Iowa, Illinois, they should have beat, and then Ohio State. So I
got to go with Michigan. I think they're a good team. The game they lost, they shouldn't have lost. And I think that was Purdue, right? Purdue beat Michigan?
Michigan? No,
Yeah.
Michigan State.
Michigan State, right. Well, that was a close game right to the end. I think it's two great teams there. But Penn State, no chance.
Right. I'm also going to go with the Nittany Lions on that one. I can't speak. I'm
The
going
Wolverines.
with the Wolverines.
Yes.
They're just clearly the better team. Number 8 Oklahoma facing number 13 Baylor. Baylor just came off a loss to the Frogs, so I'm going to go with Oklahoma.
They're embarrassed. I don't know whether they can get over it, but yes, they did lose to the Frogs, who had a new coach last week.
The Sooners are undefeated.
Things couldn't be much worse for TCU, but they put it together for a quality win there. I believe that Oklahoma will beat. Is it Oklahoma who we're picking here?
Yeah, Oklahoma versus
Baylor.
Baylor.
Yeah, Oklahoma.
Sooners are undefeated, so that's why I'm going to go with the Sooners. Moving on, next game. We have West Virginia facing off against Kansas State. This is a decent-ish game. Kansas State has looked decent. They usually are pretty good, but they've lost to Oklahoma State, OU, and then Iowa State. All good teams.
Good.
Right. They beat Stanford, who beat Oregon. They beat Texas Tech. That's where Patrick Mahomes went, for those of you that don't know that. I know that's completely insignificant of what they are now, but they beat the Frogs, and then they beat Kansas.
They got beat by the Frogs.
No, they beat the Frogs.
They beat the Frogs. All
Yeah.
right. All
And
right.
West Virginia,
I'm not going to make the same mistake 2 weeks in a row and go with West Virginia. So
I'm going to go with West Virginia. That's just because they beat Iowa State. They beat the Frogs as well. They did lose to Texas Tech, which who's the other team? Why am I blanking? Kansas State did beat Texas Tech. They lost to Oklahoma. They beat Virginia Tech, which is good. I'm going to go with the Mountaineers, but this will be a good game between two unranked teams, which we usually don't see a lot.
All right.
Next game, Coastal Carolina playing during the week. I know it's exciting. They play 2 p.m. on Saturday. You can watch it on ESPN Plus, I don't know.
Who are they playing?
They are playing Georgia State.
All right. I'm going with the Super Chickens on this one.
I am as well. I mean, yeah, I don't know much about Georgia State, but
no, I don't either.
Nothing significant enough. And it's a home game for Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, so
number 19 Purdue and number 4 Ohio State. This is good. Purdue coming off of a loss.
This could be a good game. This could be a good game, but I think Ohio State will win.
I'm going with the Boilermakers on this one. The Boilermakers are coming off of 3 straight ranked wins. Ohio State being the first. Obviously, that was a couple of years ago. And then 2 ranked wins this year. Who are they coming to? I don't know. Let me look. They beat.
Preparation is a bit lacking this week.
They beat Iowa and they beat Michigan State.
Okay. Well, that's
right.
Yeah, but I still think Ohio State will find a way to win. But I think Purdue, it's a toss-up. I think Purdue, if they bring their best game, could win. And, of course, I'm not necessarily a big Ohio State fan. I have to watch what I say. But I'm going with the Buckeyes.
Well, yes. And also, let's take into note that this could be huge if Purdue does beat Ohio State, because Notre Dame beat Purdue, if you remember. So that could put them up ahead of Ohio.
Yes.
Logically, it should, but I don't think it would.
This is an interesting game to watch. and we'll see. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough on that one. I am going to go with the Boilermakers. Number 11, Texas A&M. Number 15, Ole Miss. This is good, okay?
It will be a good game.
Yeah.
It will be a good game. Mississippi much improved. Texas A&M started out terrible. They ended up beating Alabama close.
Right.
And they've been consistent ever since then, for the most part. Mississippi has that great quarterback, Matt Corral, but when they had to play somebody really in the top tier, like Alabama, it wasn't any contest. So,
right. Yeah.
So let's see. I think I'm going with A&M on this one.
I am also going to go with A&M. A&M has after both teams are 7-2, but I feel like A&M has beat more significant teams. They've both played Alabama. Texas A&M beat them. Ole Miss lost 42-21. So let's be fair here. We're comparing games against the same team, and there's a big difference. That's why I'm going to go with A&M. They've had a better year,
A&M.
and that's why I'm going to go with the Aggies. So moving on, we have number 9 Notre Dame facing off against unranked Virginia. Notre Dame here going for the Virginia sweep this year. Hasn't happened since like 2011, where you beat Virginia and Virginia Tech in the same season. I'm hoping for it to happen.
Yeah, if the Irish show up and play a decent game, they'll win. If they come in and they're flat and make a lot of mistakes, then Virginia has a chance. But odds are on the Irish on this one.
Right. If we can win this game by like 3 touchdowns, we can move up a couple of spots.
Yeah.
All right. Next game, we have number 16, NC State facing off against number 12, Wake Forest. Who you got?
Ooh, good game. I'm going with Wake Forest for the rebound. NC State has had a nice season, so it's going to be a good game. But I was impressed with what I saw in the Wake Forest game. It could have gone either way, and I think Wake Forest is probably the. I wouldn't say North Carolina is the best team in the conference. I wouldn't say Miami's the best team in the conference. I wouldn't say Florida State. I think on a good day, Wake Forest is the best team in the ACC this year.
I'm going to go with NC State on this one. They seem like the better team to me. They beat Clemson, which I don't know if Wake Forest did. Let me look. They have not. But they haven't played them yet, so that will be interesting. They play Clemson on the 20th, so that's next week. But this should be a good game. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with NC State. I feel like they're the better team in the ACC, and Wake Forest coming off of a loss to North Carolina, who's 5-4. I think I'm going to go with NC State.
Okay.
We have TCU playing another significant team. That division's really good, or that conference is really good. So they have to play number 10 Oklahoma State.
Yeah. With all due respect to Maddie, I think it's going to be Oklahoma State in this one.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with the Cowboys. I don't really think there's a doubt on that. But hey, they beat Baylor last week. We gotta hope.
Right. It's going to have to be another miracle for them to beat Oklahoma State.
St. Vincent plays Bethany.
Bethany's terrible this year. St. Vincent's playing at home on senior day. If St. Vincent loses, it will be a big disappointment, a bad way to end what has been a season where they've shown great improvement. I think Coach Smetanka will have the Bearcats ready, and I don't think it's going to be close.
Right. I think they'll get the win as well. And I think it is a good way to have, it's a good opportunity to end on a good note heading into next year where you have a playoff contender possibly. So
Well, they have a few pieces they need to put together, but that quarterback Brady Walker is very impressive, and they have that freshman running back Billy Beck who is impressive, and I think their lead receiver is also back. So they should have a pretty good nucleus, and hopefully they can add a few pieces in the offseason with some quality freshmen. Bearcats got a way to go, but they're definitely improving a little more slowly than we fans of the Bearcats would like to see it. But hey, we beat Case Western. But I'm beginning
that's
to
going to
think
be like
that,
the thing for the next couple of years. Wait,
well,
remember when we beat Case Western in 2021?
well, some of the biggest wins the St. Vincent has had in its modern history. I've been there. I was there when they beat Washington and Jefferson. I was there when they beat Case, and I was there when they beat Carnegie Mellon. So I've seen some big winners. So maybe it's time for a season pass, and for me to go down to every home game.
That's a lot, but okay. You should
All
take
right.
me to some of them.
All right.
That brings us
to Benedictine.
No,
well,
hold up. We got Butler.
All right.
We got Butler.
I'm going to go with Butler.
They play Valpo. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Valpo. Yeah, Valparaiso. Not so good. Valpo's
Okay.
not so. I think the Bulldogs will win that one.
All right, I'll go with the Bulldogs as well then. And our final game, Benedictine taking on number 5 Walsh Jesuit. Hold on, my camera's looking really bad. There we go. They play Walsh Jesuit on Friday night. I don't know where you can watch that game because I have to figure out that myself. I don't know if it's on TV or if it's on Benedictine streaming. They have not announced it yet, but we'll see. Anyway, good game. This should be good. Who you got?
Good game. Good game. Well, I got to go with Benedictine.
I'll go with
They're right up there. They're right up there with St. Vincent. Yeah. I don't care what Jeanette High School does, but I do care what Benedictine does, and they're all part of the same big family with St. Vincent, and therefore, go Bengals.
All right, fair enough. We'll go with the Bengals on that one, and that'll do it. Thank you for watching this week on the P&P Show. Happy Veterans Day if you're watching this today, which you aren't because it's not coming out today. Thank you for all those who served. That'll just about do it.
Well, and I want to thank our production crew because they were able to set up on the west bank of the Cuyahoga River. And look at the view. It's really beautiful down there. Here tonight.
Yeah, right in the middle of like the fall. All the trees are green.
Yep, it's looking good.
It snowed earlier, but yeah. Okay.
All right,
anyway,
folks.
That'll do it.
Thank
you for watching.
Thanks for watching, and we will be back next week with another episode of the P&P Show.
So long, everybody.
So long.
Step in the kitchen. Let's go.